Rolph Aldag, Director Sportif Extraordinaire for HTC High Road, Columbia. But we spoke to Bob Stapleton just before, and he was quite diplomatic about what happened with Mark Renshaw being disqualified today. I know you guys are still trying to appeal the decision, but look, there seem to be a lot of inconsistencies with the commissarying in this year's Tour de France. If we consider what happened the other day with the fight after the finish line, and then what happened there today, what do you think about really the inconsistencies of the commissaires?
That's a major problem. Nobody really knows how to act on things and how to react and what the consequences might be. And I think that's the worst that can happen to everybody who's in the Tour. The Tour is the biggest bike race on the planet, and we really respect that. But we have to have a guidelines to say, well, this is good, this is not good, and this is not really to follow at the moment. This is not really to understand what goes on there. Somebody punches somebody else in the face ahead of multi-million television spectators, and he gets 300 euros fine, and somebody else tries to protect his life in a super hard sprint and gets thrown out of the Tour, and that is indeed a big problem.
Well, obviously, the world media watching a punch-on, a fight, and with a guy using a weapon. It was a bad weapon, a bad choice of weapon with a front wheel, but using that went out to the world's media, just as it did, I guess, the sprint finish today. But it just doesn't seem right that they got a 400 Swiss franc fine and Mark Renshaw has to go home now.
That's the biggest problem there. I mean, that's final to go home. That's not that you really have the chance to say, okay, maybe there was a little bit in the heat of the fight and maybe there was a little bit too much. He cannot prove himself, and I think that's really hard for him to say, well, I'm not a bad guy. And he is not. He tries to deliver his sprinter in the best possible spot. He tries to protect him. And, I really have my problem what's going to happen in the next couple of days with Mark Cavendish. If we have another sprint here, nobody will protect him. And it looks like, he's such a weak spot right now that everything can be done to him, but he can't do anything. And that creates a lot of danger and a lot of uncertainty for him.
The people the commissaires that are making these type of decisions, do you know who they are and what their experience is as racing cyclists?
No idea. I know who they are. We talk to them, but I mean, we have to come to the point. Decision is decision. It's a jury, and they decide. So that's final, and it has to be like that because if every sport director, if every rider has a word on that, we will end up in a big chaos. And I criticized that on the stage to Spa. Remember, there was a rider who decided to neutralize the race and basically totally changed the classement till that day now, because Andy Schleck was 4 minutes down, other guys 2 minutes ahead, and it was the rider's decision to neutralize the race, and I criticized that big time. So I'm not at all questioning that the jury makes a call. See, that really has to be the case. We have to respect that. But, then it has to be on one line. It has to be constant. People have to follow up to say, well, yeah, that's for this and this, whatever happens, that's this and this penalty, and this is what we have to be aware of.
Look, there's so much at stake in the sport of cycling now and how big the Tour de France is. Other sports, I know, use former athletes, former participants of those particular sports to make these big decisions. Is that something that perhaps cycling and the Tour de France should be thinking of in the future?
Yeah, for me it's really hard to judge on the status of the commissaires and how they develop their knowledge, how they learn about it, and so that's also a reason why I cannot really say well, this and this should be done. My career just ended 5 years ago, so I think I'm pretty much up to speed with that. We have a lot of people around who just finished their career and who have a good judgment, and but I just cannot say what really the procedure is to become the highest ranked UCI commissaire, and what they do, how they analyze, how they decide.
Well, in your previous career, you did exactly what Mark Renshaw used to do. You used to lead out Eric Zabel, and he won 6 green jerseys at the Tour de France. What do you may be slightly biased, of course, but what do you really think about what he did today, and compared that to what maybe Garmin did to cause Mark's reaction in the first place?
Yeah, see, it's for sure I'm more than a little bit biased, and everybody will forgive me for that. And I know how Mark feels, because Julie Dean really came close to him. That was he just reacted. See, we cannot forget he reacted to something that happened to him. And the third time he went back to Dean was maybe too much, but I mean, he tried to hit him twice. He went into his handlebar, put his elbow up in front of him first time. He bumped him away. He came a second time, so why not coming a third, fourth, fifth time? Just, so you're scared of that. You feel the adrenaline, you're scared. He did not cause a crash. If you're a bike rider, you know this. Trying to keep somebody away with the head is the safest you can do. It would be a lot, it looks better. He takes the hand of his handlebar, tries to hold him away with the hand, but on 65 kilometers an hour, that's crazy. That would have been a crash with 50 guys. So he absolutely does do the thing that he can do at that stage, and then being out of the tour, that's not so nice.